Reflections on the game.
I think it was good. Second half, where we play with energy, passion, intensity, how we want to play. Play with penetration, it runs and passes through the middle, scoring good goal, other chances and opportunities to get the equalizer. Couldn't get that, unfortunately. So that's a disappointing thing. First half was not as good, especially after their goal, and we can't concede the second one. That would have kept us more in the game for second half. But second half was the energy and the collaboration and unity with the fans was brilliant. They were very good.
You did a lot of great stuff in the second half. Do you feel, in terms of the second half and just going forward, do you feel you need more in terms of bringing players in this window to help you now?
I think definitely need to do everything we can to play two good halves, which is, I think every team want to do that. Every team want to be consistent in that aspect. In terms of transfer market, as I said many times, we are out there working very hard, try to improve the squad. So yeah.
Hi Thomas. Richarlison, it feels like you've done so much work with him and got him kind of firing again and fit, but it looked like, is it another hamstring problem?
Yeah, it could look like that. I think we have done a lot of things right to get him where he is now. I think he's done a lot of things right. I think this is not that, but it's just, I think it's a little bit one. It's not only about us, it's about, I think, every club. I think there's a few injuries across the Premier League. I think it's something for the football authorities to look into as well. We played 5 games in 13 days, 4 in 10. That's one of the few clubs who did that, and this is our 3rd time this season. And that's the most tricky thing with 2 days between. We're dealing with it. We're doing everything we can to compete in it, but that's a tough schedule.
The club made a big kind of declaration at the start of the season. It wanted to compete in all 4 competitions. Obviously, you're out of the 2 cups pretty early, albeit to tough teams. I mean, what's the message to the fans that just hasn't been achieved?
Yeah, of course, that's disappointing. I said before the game that we went full strength. There was nothing. There's players we could. Should we be energized? Should we? We're taking how can you say? Miki is in a top place, and he, but that was definitely a player to think about. But we wanted to do everything we could to win the game, and we did everything we could. And especially second half, you can see we did everything we could. Unfortunately, we faced a good Villa team as well that made 2 moments that scored. They scored 2 goals. We could only made 1.
Hi Thomas. Much better in the second half. So what do you think the main difference was between the first half and the second half, especially up to 17th minutes? From the beginning of the second half to the 17th minute, Tottenham had a much better side. Yeah,
I agree. I think there's a little bit of momentum against Sunderland. We played a very good first half, couldn't keep it up second half. Here we played a much better second half, came out with more energy, passion, more determination, and that, of course, we need to do everything we can to do over 90 minutes. So yeah, need to keep work on that.
Hi Thomas, it was a really good second half. Unfortunately, a defeat, and you're obviously out of the FA Cup. What can you sort of say to fans tonight that are kind of thinking the season is virtually over now after this competition, being a really good chance to try and go far?
Yeah, but I think that is disappointing. We all hurt. There's nothing we want to do more to get through to the next round, no matter who we face. We play at home. We had a good opportunity. Unfortunately, we couldn't go through. As I said, we went with full strength in terms of how we could do it. We all look back at the game and think, we think we could do better the first half and all that. Second half, very good. So, yeah.
Hi, Thomas. I don't know how much you saw of what happened at the end, but more post-match confrontations, this time with the other team. Are you players losing control? Are you troubled by it?
I don't think so. I guess you've seen the situation through. I just saw it to be sure what I saw was right. Of course, it's all about keeping a cool head. The players gave everything out there. Losing, tight game. The season's not going perfect. And I think Ollie is very provoking in the way he's going down to celebrate in front of the Villa fans, and he's walking into Xiao. He can just easily walk around. And I think everyone who's been a competitive nature, that's difficult, that can trick things.
Have Villa got a bad habit of this kind of provocation?
That I don't know.
Did your Brentford team have something afters with them last season? Probably Ollie at the middle of it again.
Maybe that. I remember there was one game, yeah, but that I don't want to. I don't know that about Villa. I'll just speak about this situation.
Okay, but you lost Kuti for something that happened sort of off the field after. It's just, is it a growing trend, and do you need to be careful because you're effectively losing?
No,
players?
I think it's like you need to play with passion, and when you play with passion, then sometimes you play to the line, and sometimes a little bit borderline. So I see players with big passion. They want to do very well for the club, and I think that's very important. Then of course you also need cool heads.
Hi Thomas. Aside from the enforced change in the first half, it obviously was 78th minute until you made your first kind of non-enforced change. I mean, the opposite number made changes earlier on in the game and perhaps lost a little bit of cohesion and impetus when those players were brought on. Was the waiting time perhaps speaking to, I suppose, a lack of depth and experience and quality on the bench?
Yeah. No, basically that was it. I don't think we, for various reasons, had the depth in the bench today. We basically didn't have a midfielder to place Archie and Xiao. So I had a few solutions in my head if we had to lose one of them. We fortunately didn't. So that was part of it. Yeah.
The first half wasn't great. I think that's fair to say. The fans booed you at half time. There was a smattering of boos at the end of the game. But there was a positive response to the performance in the second half. Is that again indicative? It's the players and the performance that's got to get the fans, rather than the players asking the fans to back them without any doubt, as it were. I mean, do you have to start performing to get them back on side?
No, yeah, we all know there's only one way to have everyone happy. That is performing consistently and winning enough games. That's the only way. And we could see second half especially, the energy, how they feed off each other, the players and the fans was fantastic. Experience being in the middle of it. Unfortunately, we couldn't get that fantastic comeback, which sometimes kickstart a momentum, and that's what we are working very hard to do. But I think the fans, the way they backed the team and pushed them forward second half was very, very good. I still think it's we need to, first and foremost us. We need to perform, and then they can feed off the energy. But of course, you also need them in tough times, which they are there. They're traveling in big numbers to away games, and they are backing us. So that's a two-way.